Welcome, welcome everybody to Viyahta's Tiny House Village. And my guest today is Chief Amun Is that right? Did I pronounce that right?
I'm a newbie young, but you could just say Chief Amun.
Chief Amanu Bianc. Welcome and thank you all for joining us. We are on YouTube Live and we have to fix StreamYard's rules and regulations about streaming to other platforms. But we should be on Facebook, your Facebook pages. So check. Some have Tanisha check the Facebook page because that's where we send it directly from my YouTube channel. But anyway, let us welcome. Let's see, my tiny house village. We want to welcome. If I can find them, let's see. But we are here to have a big discussion on perception and becoming self-guided. So we want everybody to get your pens out, pencils, and we're going to have a wonderful discussion on what it really means to be perceptive and see things in your divine eyes. So we are on fire tonight, or today, it's almost night, to share our thoughts and our beliefs and our knowledge about perception and being guided by your eternal internal self, right? But we've been in meditation now for what, 35 days, is it? How many? We're up to 35?
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't think it's 35 though. It's like maybe I'm saying it's less. Probably like late 20s. So we probably have.
No, no,
I
it's more
think it's
than that.
March the 18th. Yeah, well, March the 18th. I think it ends. March 18th or 19th.
Okay, so that's this week. But is it too late for people to join?
Probably gonna do another round, but I'm gonna try to set it up different
Okay.
because there's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't want it to interfere. So.
Okay, so we're coming down to the end of a 40-day, 3-hour meditation, which has been just really a blessing for me to just stop and breathe and and focus on rhythm of music. I sent you a YouTube video I found today. It just showed up. It was like, oh my goodness, this is so awesome. And it reminded me of the music you play, but I played it all day. I played it in the car. So I'm really getting into the rhythm of meditative music that helps me be quiet and just breathe, basically. So thank you all for joining us today. We've got a few people on YouTube, and I don't even have it streaming to my Facebook today because I have it streaming hopefully to your Facebook. And all you need to do is Tanisha can just share the YouTube to your Facebook platform. But YouTube's different. We're going to have to work out getting this message on your YouTube without going live, without it being live, because that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I want to just start out saying, after the meditation last night, um,
Mhm.
I got such clarity, and I see that that's what I'm getting out of these meditations is clarity on the things that come up in my mind that might be a challenge, conflict, or confusing, right?
Right.
But after spending 2.5, 3 hours, I have to admit, I'm not always doing 3 hours, but 2 hours, 3 hours, the perception issue, which we're going to talk about today, becomes so clear, and my guidance becomes clearer.
Right.
So we talked about on Sunday about yoga, and this is just my own testimony about what the meditation has helped me to come into my own life. And what I realized is that people who don't believe that yoga is an ancient practice and it's been around for thousands of years, that belief system will cause suffering and pain and confusion in their physical, mental being. Because we know that this practice of yoga is truthfully ancient, for one, and we know that the Western world demonized it for control purposes. So for me, it became just a peaceful understanding of people, especially Christians, who want to demonize this practice that many of us. I'm a yogi. Many of us are yogis. Many of us who are practicing this rhythm of moving the body and breathing, who know for a fact that it's true. We can now rest assured that anyone who doesn't have that belief, they're not evolving, because we as human beings, as my friend Neb Taharka always says, evolution is the solution. And that became clear to me after the meditation last night, or Sunday, yeah, last night, that if people are not evolving to a truth that most of us are fully aware of, then they will have suffering and pain and sickness and disease, because evolution is the path we all should be on. So that's my testimony. And it just brought me a lot of peace when I went to bed, to not have to struggle with that, the conversations, the debates that people want to have. Your belief system, your evolution process is what I have decided, or have really come to understand, is what's going to determine how much you suffer or are in pain or struggling in this journey. So I'm going to hand that over to you. I just wanted to give that testimony. I was so excited like this morning when I came to that peace about after the meditation. So that's why I want to know, can people still join? Because it's such a benefit to be a part of a community that believes in meditation, beautiful music, and peace. So I'm going to let Chief take over now and give us some wisdom and knowledge and words on being perception and becoming self guided, because that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah, I'm glad that you I'm glad that you experienced that. You know, a lot of things that I set out to do with the help of others. You know, the results when people tell me that they reach a certain level, or they reach a certain peaceful state or clarity and things like that, which I do get a lot of. I don't talk about it though, but sometimes a lot of people come to me privately and they talk about their experiences with the classes and courses and meditation. It lets me know that it's working. So yeah, you know, we got a lot of, like I said before in previous interviews, we have a lot of things that's going on right now in society. It's a lot of radiation in the atmosphere. It's a lot of what they call mental pollution. A lot of a lot of mental pollution. Um, you know, with if you look at the mentality of the majority of people on the planet, and they're thinking negative and thinking perversive, and all that stuff is radiating out in the atmosphere. It's not just cell phone radiation and so forth and so on, but it's also mental radiation. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's why a lot of times it's hard for people to stay focused on something that they set out to do. So when they get up in the morning, it's they procrastinate until finally they know, you notice late at night, very late at night, is when you're trying to say, oh well, I can take care of this, right? But it's time to rest. And it's because the majority of people, they sleep. So the energies and the negative energies in the atmosphere subside some, you see. But what you could do is when you get up, you can set the tone for your day by saying a prayer, affirmation, and chanting for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, doing some meditation or whatever. Then it actually radiates, that energy radiates, auric energy radiates in your environment, and it puts like a barricade up and blocks that radiation that's coming into your proximity from outside in the atmosphere and the environment, and creates a wholesome atmosphere so that you can uh, penetrate what you need to do. You can set forth and what you need to do to accomplish that. So if we say that society predates us, which it does, because we was born into this, then we have to say that we have to have an armor, that we have to have an armor of protection, and that armor of protection is concentration, meditation, proper diet, and so forth and so on. So we have to strengthen that aura around ourselves, which is a real thing. It's not wishful thinking. Some people don't believe in that because they can't see it, but they can actually measure that the bioelectromagnetic field around each person. But because of the lifestyle, we'll say the society or lifestyle, everybody's actually is not normal. It's weaker than what it's supposed to be. So it makes them susceptible to anything. So when you walk in a room and you feel like, oh, it's just so negative, it's just this. No, your aura should take over everybody else's, you see. And you see, so um, the 40 days and 40 nights intensive meditation, I like to move on spirit. um, Things come to me and I move on it, and I take it like, okay, this is what the Most High is directing, so let me do this. And also, I noticed that by being a practitioner for many years, knowing how to implant energies and things like that, I know how to implant these energies into this 40 days, 40 nights of intensive meditation. I know how to speak to somebody, not just to the person, but to their souls. You see, and then they have a deeper travel. They go on many different travel through many different frequencies as they go through this meditation, and they break through barriers and things like that. And certain energies that were dormant inside of them is able to come out of them. You see, so we're definitely going to do it again. Um, I don't know, within 7 days, within, I have to look at what I got going on. But what I want to do is I want to make some more recordings so that I can play the recordings and handle what I got to handle at the same time. But I want to make a few more new recordings with new music, and then go from there and try to organize these recordings. And so that when the new cycle comes along, then they could have that to listen to, not the same thing over and over and over again. But I think that it's a great success, and I'm real happy about your experience and the peace that came over you. And it's important because you have a divine divinity inside of you. You have divinity inside of you. You have that thing inside of you that is timeless. It has no birth date. It has no end date. So whenever you clear yourself and clear your soul mind or your objective mind, that eternalness comes through. It comes through and it overwhelms you, and of course it's good, it's positive, and you think better. Activities that you need to do in your life, you do it with you're more proficient in doing it. You're more successful in all your undertakings. You're able to concentrate better. What it takes you normally to complete in an hour, you can complete in 30 minutes, you see. So it's very important, and that entails bringing out your true potential. Um, uh, once you set the foundation. I set the foundation, my mind is clear, my energy is now smooth. Now let me go out and try to accomplish my goals in life. You see.
No
So
anxiety too.
I'm sorry.
No anxiety.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no anxiety. Yeah, that's that we call it the mental rift, because once the mind gets to a certain point and then a person pops. And it, and they also talk about midlife crisis and things like that. And I talked about that before when people move in cycles of seven, from 0 to 7, the soul energy, as well as genetics, but some 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28, 28 to 35, 35 to 42, 42 to 49, when they reach the pinnacle of all of the different aspects of their soul. And it's like one big pot of soup, that presents itself at age 49. People are supposed to be at a certain level. If you get to that age and you're not physically fit, mentally fit, spiritually fit, then you start to slowly decline, and you gain some wisdom, but you start to slowly decline. A lot of people have issues with memory and focus and concentration and all these different things like that, which not getting enough sunlight also contributes to that. This society, you literally have to fight against it to get enough sunlight, but that's very important as well. So um, it's one
Yeah,
thing that
even especially in elementary school, where the teaching should start about getting enough sunlight. But they keep my grandkids inside all day, and then they restrict them from going outside because one kid fell off the monkey bars and hurt himself. So now we got to keep the kids inside more often. I'm like, what?
oh
How
God,
about you put some people supervising these kids to fall off the monkey bar? That's how crazy it is. It's like, no, that's not how things work in life. Can
yeah,
you imagine that?
that's crazy.
It
Keep
is.
them incubated, and ain't no telling what they feeding them at school. But
Yeah, that's another story.
um, what I wanted to say too, oh well, I can get into that another time. But these some of these doctors have found that not getting enough sunlight, which affects the pineal gland and pituitary as far as the release of hormones, can lead to obesity or having a person actually having too much weight on them. They think it's because of what they're eating, which also contributes to it. But that black light, you need to have that black light. The body needs to get exposed to it. If you don't get enough, then the hormones, they don't function properly in the body. They don't function as well, should I say? So we'll talk about that another time. But when a person does go through back to meditation, when a person goes to meditation and they still the mind, when the mind is still, it becomes like glass, like I said before, for that light to shine through. If that light shines through bright enough and clear enough, then it speaks to a person. It tells a person what they need to do, which direction they need to go in, what they need to accomplish, how they need to accomplish it, or whatever questions that they have within themselves can be answered. And if that keeps going, that leads to what you call self realization, where the consciousness totally aligns with the higher consciousness and they become one, as called the divine marriage. But a person has to become pure, not pure as in being a good person, but pure as in no dirtiness, not doing things on the side, not sleeping around with different people, casual sex with this person, that person, not eating anything, putting anything in your body, not watching anything or listening to anything. So all of those helps keep the signal, or the frequency, very, very clean and crisp and clear. It's like like I said before, turning the knob on the radio, and you got a clear signal where that music comes through instead of all this static. You see that? So it's our people. What happens is too, when you align that way, it actually re-networks the brain because the thinking changed. So the
Hmm.
neurons, they rewire themselves. You start to think different. Your personality becomes different. The character becomes different. You become a just totally different person. And this is a slow process, you see. And the thinking and the reasoning, it affects that as well.
Absolutely. So your perception of, for instance, if you are a person of integrity, that's part of the sacred, healthy aura and personality that you're talking about. And just integrity alone, the scriptures say that the righteous man is walks in his integrity. So if you don't take anything out of the Bible at all, you should know that you should be a man of your word, a woman of your word. And if you say you're going to do something, follow up and do it. And I had to learn that lesson from my husband. When I met him, I was not a woman of integrity, but he had it 110%. I mean, if I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it, he was on me or every time. Like, you said you're going to be home at 7. Why is it you home at 8 o'clock? I'm like, what difference does it make? I went through that for almost 40 years. Not 40, I'd say 20, until I finally got it, that was important.
Wow.
So just taking integrity alone, what is your perception? What does integrity mean to people? It didn't mean the same to me as it did to this man I was married to.
I think integrity, it starts with the person being honest with yourself, uh,
Yeah.
being honest with yourself, and um, it also has to do with being organized. Uh,
Yes.
it has to do with being organized. I mean, like myself, dealing with so many different aspects, I ran into a lot of disorganization and having to raise it up even higher, because it's easier when you're just dealing with yourself. You're not talking to anybody else. It's just you and your life. But when you start bringing on all these other aspects of life and all these other aspects of spheres in life, and other people start to come into play, and then that's when you really have to focus on being organized. So integrity is extremely important. Being honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you can't have any integrity with building the integrity with anybody else as well. Then trust becomes a factor. If nobody will be able to trust you, you won't be able to trust yourself. That reminds me of that the question actually reminds me of the book Soulmate and Divine Family uh, Structure. So I think that that's extremely important. And one thing I want to say, having integrity is a positive attribute. When one aligns themselves, what I spoke about before, integrity, morality, and a lot of other positive aspects, they become very strong in a person. They begin to grow and grow and grow, because a lot of people speak about, let's say, if somebody get possessed by an entity or a spirit from TV, we say that's very evil, right? But if you are possessed by your inner self, you see, or what they call turning yourself inside out, and all those divine qualities within start beginning to show themselves, that's a positive possession. And so the being on the inside becomes a being on the outside. You see that? And that's what a lot of times people talk about, transforming from mortal to immortality. You see? So it's a process, and some people refer to it as resurrection or divine unity or cosmic consciousness, or all these different titles for it. And there's different levels for it. But my thing is introducing the process of it to the people, um, which is the meditation, intensive meditation, is a part of it, because you have to learn to still the mind so that the higher aspects and qualities of oneself can come through. And this is considered something that's very, very abstract. That means a lot of people that are out in society, unless they slow down for 2 seconds, they won't be able to get this. To them, it just go right over the head, and they don't have any value with it. But if they can slow the mind down and say, hey, let me listen to what this brother's saying, or let me listen to what this sister's saying, and start to teach them about the mechanics of the mind and the way the mind works, then they can take advantage of their life. They can take advantage of themselves. It's not about taking advantage of somebody else. You can't rule the world unless you can rule yourself. You can rule yourself, you can rule the world around yourself. You see? So these are the things that's not talked about in school and amongst our people. and it gives them weak perception. It gives them very weak perception, the ability to recognize truth from falsehood, to understand which directions to go in life, and not just follow the narrative that's already there. You see, and that's leading a lot of youth, on drugs, junkies, and everything else. You already know. Uh, so it's very important.
Well, I even say perception is learning how to discern versus judge. Because I'll take an example that comes up on my YouTube listening. This woman Crockett, who's in the Jasmine's Crockett, that's my granddaughter's name. That's why her name keeps reminding me. Jasmine Crockett is very vocal, from Texas, and people who will pay attention to politics think she's just wonderful. She's speaking up for the Black people and all that. But discerning her nature of who victimhood, if we have people in our community who are talking about we're victims, and we need a handout, and we always have to, the government always has to help us, if that's the message we're receiving, then we should discern that that person isn't really looking out for our good. And then you say judgment. Well, are you judging somebody because of what they say or do, or are you just discerning that for the benefit of the community that we live in, are people trying to lift us up, or are you being lifted up by the words, the meditation, and all these things? Or are you listening to people who just want you to be dependent on the government and dependent on their message, instead of helping us all be more sovereign and independent? Because your message of self-guided means we're not dependent on too much of anything first. We're dependent on what's going on in here. So maybe if you could speak about discernment versus judgment, because we get confused with that a lot.
Yeah, and people use that word loosely, and sometimes people use that word when they don't want to hear the truth about
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Discernment is that goes back to intuition, quick perception of truth without any process of thinking. If you want to call it psychic abilities or what have you, but when you open your eyes in the morning, you judge because
Yeah,
you have to
okay.
differentiate. If I see a white wall, I just differentiate it in my mind, in the subconscious mind or the computer mind, white as opposed to all other aspects of what they call colors. If I look at a blue shirt, I just determine, if I determine that shirt was blue, you see that? And on a subconscious level, just like that, I just judged. So when they speak about judgment is practically, uh, what they mean is how far you take it. Nobody wants you to impose on them, but it's a way that you can speak to them without crossing that line. Once you cross that line, then they say, why are you judging me? You judge me. But if you don't cross that line, I think a minister was actually talking about that. That was actually a question that somebody asked, what is the difference between judgment and not judgment? Because it's really it's two ends of the same stick.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you cannot perceive something without judging it. So then it becomes, how do I communicate? Where's my civility when I'm talking or speaking to this person? You see, and how comfortable I make this person. But we are our brothers and sisters keeper, whether we like it or not. Because if we say we're not, that's impossible, because we already are linked with each other. Energetically, we're linked. We link to the planet, the trees, the grass, the ground, the atmosphere, the electromagnetic field around the planet. All of us are touching each other right now. You see, so to judge something, I think, is to overimpose, and you're no longer concerned with the help that a person needs, but to bash the person. I think that's when you cross the line, and it becomes judgment. But in a universal sense, it's impossible not to judge. It's impossible. And there's nothing wrong with judging. It's absolutely nothing wrong with judging.
Well, when it becomes a challenge for people is when they get triggered. See,
Oh,
we're dealing with a lot right now in our society of people getting angry if you say something they don't like. So instead of us reacting to what's going on around us and to what people say, we are learning to respond with, what did you mean by that? Or did you want me to respond in a certain way? Instead of people, why did you say that? Why are you being mean to me? And that's where we don't progress or evolve, in my opinion, is that if we keep getting triggered, we need to ask ourselves, well, what in my experience in life is causing me to get angry because someone said they don't like my hat or my hair or whatever. It's like today there was a post about a woman who had blonde hair locks, blonde hair, blonde braids of European nature, and a black woman got angry because she was wearing blonde locks. And I said, why? And she was obviously triggered. So we're being triggered by what other people do, instead of asking ourselves, why is that making me feel angry? Why is that making me feel anxiety? We just start cursing people out. That's what I see around me, is that people get into the mood of cursing or then you're judging instead of discerning, why did I get triggered by that? So
It's
that again is perception and self-guidance. We need to be balancing that. So I hope you're going to help people learn how to balance the triggers and the perceiving something that makes you go instead and pause and meditate, like, and say, okay, let me step back and ask myself, why is that making me giving me anxiety?
yeah, it's a lot of reactions.
Yes.
What people call thinking is not thinking. It's like instinctive reaction. You see, and one thing that's that our in enlightened societies, what they do in initiation, the first thing they do is balancing out the characteristics of a person. A person is it cannot even be willing to want to fix themselves if they don't have proper sound or divine reasoning. They don't have proper reasoning. They're not going to slow down to even think about or even notice the fact that they need to fix themselves or that they have any damage. And that's my thing. We have various groups of our people all over the United States, all over the world. And everybody's saying, oh, we need to liberate ourselves, which we do. We need to continue to do that. But in order to try to solve your issues, you have to have a balanced mindset, balanced emotions, or you're gonna go off the hinges and what they call crash out. And then
Yeah.
you're gonna do something that you later regret it, or you're just gonna waste time. You see, so it's something uh, you have to. That's what we're gonna do too in the universal order of the Black Light, or you want to call it our own school. That's a part of the first part of it is balancing our characteristics and things like that. And even in all the other schools of thought that I was, that's what they did, and that's what is done in enlightened societies amongst the Dogon people, amongst the because that's one thing that they teach. They like the guy named Master Nava that came over here. They set up the Earth Center Dogon, and he was going to go straight into a lot of the high sciences that they have, but he realized people were so degraded. He had
Mm.
to teach them, as he say, how to be human beings again, because they've been so saturated over here, and hot dog, hamburger, French fries, mac and cheese, all this dumb stuff that's killing people. He had to teach them. They didn't know how to eat right, didn't know how to speak properly, didn't have proper civility, and nothing. No morals, no nothing. And the morals should be guided by that inner light, right? But he had to teach them how to be human beings again. You see that? And that's the big issue. And because if you don't have that energy or that frequency modulated correctly inside of you, when you do try to do higher forms of spirituality, it's not going to work. You'll never reach it. In other
Absolutely.
words, that means you'll never reach your full potential when it comes to your destiny, a true destiny that you was sent here to carry out.
And so if you're as we get go back to what I said in the beginning, if you have pain and suffering in your body, first and foremost, you, I believe from my experience lately especially, you're not evolving, because the body is trying to tell us, the body is talking to us when we're inflamed. When we have inflammation, we're in pain and we're suffering. So the body is trying to tell us, okay, you need to evolve to a new truth than you've been experienced up to now. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's cancer, if you let cancer doesn't start overnight. That's a long process of
Mm-hmm.
you rejecting the truth of who you are, one, of how you should live your life on this earth. And then when it shows up, you have to reverse that to heal and live. So that means you, when you're in, have cancer growing in your body and you're in pain, you've been having indigestion, you're having, sore joints and all that. We come to a realization that my body has been out of balance for a while. When you have a doctor say you have cancer, that's been going on for probably a year or two or three. And now you have to have a doctor or someone else tell you you have cancer. And then the fear starts. So, talk about the self guided, becoming self guided to avoid the disease that's growing in our body. If we have to go to a doctor's office and hear those words, something we weren't self guided along the way to have to come to that point.
That is very, actually, very, very good question. I talked about that a while back in one of the classes in 2024, and basically, I was explaining how having correct information and acting on correct information versus misinformation actually creates disease in the body. That means now we're taking truth and we realize that truth is actually a tangible thing. It becomes tangible because what is truth is when your realization aligns with the knowledge of the Most High, the knowingness. When your realization or your consciousness aligns or your awareness aligns with the inner knowledge, it produces truth. You see that? If I am believing something that is false and fake and phony, it actually has an effect on the way I think. It means that my thinking will also be false and incorrect, and my actions then will be false, incorrect, cumulative, chaotic. You see that? And
Yeah.
that has an effect on your immune system. It produces stress. You see that? And it
Hmm.
causes all types of ailments, which leads to all the different types of sicknesses. So having right knowledge or correct knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is very, very important to our health. You see that? And that is extremely important. And it's, like to say, knowledge itself is. And I heard a guy tell me, he said, "Oh, you saying knowledge itself? Man, I heard that way back in the cities, in the '60s. You think you talking about something? You say knowledge itself, like that's why you're talking like that because you never applied knowledge itself. You're the one that just heard it over and over and over again. How many people have done it? You see that? So, and then some people have done it. I see that with you and your show and the things that you talk about and your wisdom. So knowledge. Perception is everything. Truth is everything, and knowing truth is extremely important. And we have to get out of this type of optional thinking as my reality is my reality. It doesn't matter. It's me, and that's your reality. We got to get out of that because that's making excuses for ignorance at that point. You got to get away from that and understand that truth is real and truth can be had. That's why I always ask the question, can truth be had? If it can be had, then it's possible that these brothers and sisters over here actually have truth, and these brothers over sisters over here does not have truth. Not the fact that it just can't be had, because we got so much misinformation out here. We can't get overloaded with just thinking like that. We have to become seekers forever and ever and ever until we can align properly and go down that journey. But I'm sure say for some time in somebody's lifetime, you know, because we have a habit of of saying that, you know, this person over here think they know something. This person over, we can't do that. That's not good.
Well, you've heard the saying, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." But as you hinted, if you don't use that, now we have almost too much knowledge. I have to respond to text sometimes as TMI, too much information. I don't need all that information. And we have so much knowledge because of what? These phones and the internet, basically. There is nothing you can't get an answer to. My grandson loves to say, "Hey Google, what's the blah 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 blah? What's the answer to this? Hey Google, hey Siri, hey Siri." So AI has presented itself. It's not like it hadn't been here for a while, but it's presented itself to help us increase knowledge and information, right? So my people perish for lack of knowledge, but they're not using it the
That's
way
why they
the
perish.
Most High intended for us to be aligned with the capital T truth that will keep us from disease and sickness. Because even if, like you say, if somebody thinks over here, well, that's your business, I'm right, you're wrong, your body is going to tell you whether you're right or wrong. Headaches, pain, inflammation, disease will show up when you're not aligned with the truth of the Most High and what you're promoting, meditation and music, certain music. And that's where we are falling short. And that's why we want to do these shows every week, because people need to shift their alignment. Self guided means your body is feeling truth, living truth, hearing truth, walking truth, being truth. It's not just having the knowledge and not being the knowledge.
Yep, that's right. It's very, very important. And our people are perishing. Now they're perishing from not applying the knowledge that they have. You see,
Exactly.
it shouldn't be. You shouldn't see people talking about all this different knowledge and stuff. Then they fall over having a stroke or heart attack or something like that.
I'm telling
You know,
you.
because they're not applying the dietary laws, and things are not exercising, and so forth and so on. So that's it. That's extremely important. But perception is sharpened when a person practices meditation, which is the science of stilling the mind. The mind has to be still so that the light of the Most High within them can shine through, give them answers on all levels. A person needs to exercise. That actually keeps the brain sharp. Exercise actually it creates a barrier away from Alzheimer's disease and dementia, you know, and the drinking of water, and so forth and so on. So
And
it's,
depression,
yeah,
exercise heal your depression.
yes, it does. It does heal your depression. So, but to become mentally sharp is extremely important. We have a lot of powerful people in our communities that, you know, it's like they don't have, some of them don't have the knowledge, or they don't have the sciences, the spiritual sciences, the mental sciences, to understand the mechanics of the mind so that they can be much more effective. Nobody in the enlightened societies approaches their destiny in the world without having a sturdy foundation. You have to have a sturdy foundation. You know, we talked about before: positive thinking, meditation, prayer, proper diet, so forth and so on. That is your sturdy foundation, and that those are the things that people overlook. They want to talk about politics and things like that. Before you can even get into politics or try to move outwardly, you have to move inward. In order for you to master the outside, you got to master the inside. I'm not talking about spending years and years on the inside. I'm talking about before you do your daily activities, set the tone for your day. Give appreciation to the inner spirit within you, your higher self, your first self. Give appreciation to that, connect with that, and let that set the tone and guide you throughout the day. Then you can have a much more productive day, you see. And then maybe people can be more productive or should I say, successful with the goals that they set out to do.
I heard I saw a video recently that they're using melanin to operate computers. They have found that melanin is so that this hormone or agent that makes color in the skin is so powerful that it can help run computers and
Mhm.
other machinery. So when you think about self-guided uh, activity, just the fact that if you're in a body with more melanin than usual than the average person out there, Europeans or whoever, you are so powerful. So the self-guided, when you say self-guided, it makes me realize that it starts here, consciousness, to be guided to make choices that you are powerful. My sister-in-law just passed. She was the same age as I was, but she was married to her doctors. Overweight, extremely overweight, always looking to her doctor for a drug or medicine to help her get through whatever disease, and no self-guided awareness of her melanin power. So if we today can just leave here with that thought, that if you're in a body, a vessel, a sacred vessel that has darker skin, kinky hair, you are so powerful that they want to kill you. Really, they're after melanin bodies right now, and they want to use that melanin for their AI production, whatever. This should raise your consciousness and your self guided energy to a whole new level. and
Definitely.
and and then realize, if you have this consciousness, you are protected, because the creator of the universe, most high, we have a job to do to wake these pale face elites up, that they are not the ones with the power. We are, but we have given away our power
Well,
to
they
these. Go
okay.
ahead.
Now I said they know who we are though.
Yeah,
They know that we are the ones. But and that's why they do everything. That's why they screen the music to make sure nobody's putting out anything out there to wake people up. They screen the music. They screen the television. They screen everything. Screen movies, media, everything. They watch Facebook, Twitter. Everything's being watched. So um, they looking out for Messiah, or Messiahs, should I say? They looking out for that. So everything is being screened because they know who we are as a people. And yes, they've been using melanin technology for years, years. It ain't just started. They've been doing it for years. Melanin is everything. It's the womb. It actually the black ether space, what they call the womb space. Um, that then the solidified form is called melanin, and without it, a person is very impotent. You see that? So all of our power is like a dipole antenna. A person becomes, if you're able to activate that, you can utilize it and become more psychic. You see that? And then you have is also a battery, more like a capacitor where it stores energy, it sucks in energy and then pushes energy out, sucks in energy, absorbs it, and then push it out. And it gives you more bandwidth in the brain to be able to turn that knob and be able to communicate to higher dimensions and things like that. But I mean, you even look at extraterrestrials, these grays, gray entities, reptilians, and things like that, and the things that they can do, communicating telepathically, and that all of that stuff is inside of human beings. And human beings are actually doing the same thing that they're doing, but among certain tribes, like Dogon people, Bakatla people, amongst the Zulus, and they're communicating telepathically. That's a part of the science. And the priests, some of them are even more powerful than the extraterrestrial beings. They've went outgrown them way past them in these two-strand DNA bodies. So, yeah.
And one more point about our melanin and stem cells. That's what I was thinking about. We need to make sure in this community that those women who are still of childbearing age, They stopped giving those umbilical cords to the sick care system. We have lost, many of us, I know I did when I had my two sons, umbilical cord. I don't know what that means, but we, as a doula and in the doula community, we need to be holding on to those umbilical cords because they carry stem cells, they carry nutrition. There are a lot of doulas and midwives who actually help the women freeze the umbilical cord, and then they actually are eating them. I know people don't like to hear that, but they realize that that's what our ancestors used to do. And midwives are very aware of this. So it's something to think about if you're still childbearing age, to stop get, because they're paying up to $5,000 for women's umbilical cords. Guess what's in there? Stem cells. That's a valuable commodity and agent. So let us begin to educate. And the self-guided area here is that women who do conceive and who are going to have bring in new souls into the into this earth planet, they need to be starting more consciousness about umbilical cords and stem cells, and let's keep that in the family.
Yeah, that's correct. And the solution to that also is
Home
that
birth.
we start to have our own facilities so that we can so sisters can give birth and not go into those hospitals.
Yes,
And they
home
are
birth.
paying big, yeah, home birth, and they are paying big money. They paying big money for that stuff. And another thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to self-knowing and perception is that I want to talk about what that looks like. Um, this is not something like a hint here and there or thought here and there. It looks like, if you want to know of an event that took place 8,000 years ago, you're able to tap into that took place 8,000 years ago and receive information from that era of time. In firsthand information, you can literally see it taking place or have some kind of intuitive energy from that era of time and picking up on it and then bring it over into the consciousness here. That's the level that I'm talking about that it can reach. And we have certain people like that on the planet, but they don't have to read any books or nothing because they picking up information from the past, whether it's from yesterday, well, before they were born, or way thousands and thousands of years ago, millions. It's no limit to the time period, uh, because the first self has no limitations, or the inner being has no limitations. But that's what where that would lead to. Um, but
Absolutely. And Pauline is Pauline, thank you, Pauline. She said 30,000. I'm like, what? I didn't realize it was that high. 50,000 is being
yeah,
paid for the placentas.
it's high.
This is
Yeah.
why we don't need a federal Department of Education, because they have dumbed down our kids and us to the level where we're not aware of something like this. Shame on us if we don't know that the value of the beginning of our life on this planet, they taking advantage of and paying 30 grand, and we just giving it away in ignorance. Oh, it doesn't mean nothing to me. It's time to change that. And that should be starting in elementary school. Instead of bringing in drag queens to entertain our kindergartners, we need to be educating them out. Listen, your placenta, the sex education starts at home. And we talk to them about stuff like this. What comes out when you're born is very expensive to some people. Self-guided. Let's be self-guided about what we giving away, and which is valuable to other people. Our all this. Thank you, Pauline. That's really, ooh, that's kind of shocking. I didn't realize it was that high. But let me just say hello to some of the people here. We got BS Virginia '01. Peace to all. Thank you, BS Virginia. Hope that doesn't mean B what I BS. It's a positive BS, right, Virginia? And then Haru says, peace. Thank you. Velify, Zwani, peace, family. Peace to you. Tanisha Thompson, peace. Thank you. Um, Pauline again, peace and love to everyone. We got Pauline again, peace and love. David Jenkins Jr. Uh, did I hear? Oh, wait. Yeah, David Jenkins says, Dumalong and peace and love everyone. Thank you, David. And Haru, we have 12 watching, but only 3 likes. Now, is that in the Facebook page? It must be Facebook.
No, I don't think it's well. The link is in Facebook, but it's not actually live on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
people will click on it when if they go to your face. I think everybody's here on YouTube, but we're gonna have to work that out because you as a guest can send the show to at least 2 places, and we'll work that out in the future where we can get it to the pages that it needs to go to for you. Peace and light, but it should be on your Facebook page. I don't know why. If it was shared, you have to share it to your
Well,
Facebook page.
I shared it to Facebook, um, but it should be live. It should show live on Facebook, but it's just the link here.
Okay,
So
we'll look. We'll could get that worked on as we go. Let's see. Gugu, Litu, Michelle, peace and light. Thank you, Michelle. DFM, I am peace and love family. Washita Wellness, Supreme Elevation family. Thank you, Washita. And Washita says, yes, that's right. Right. It's not a death sentence. It's a wake up call. Call to upgrade. And I believe she's referring to cancer or any disease. Uh, Alzheimer's, cancer, autoimmune diseases, they all come under inflammation, really. And we are out of alignment with our creator, whatever disease they want to call it. And so we're here to share. And Haru says YouTube. Okay. So we're here to help us all be more conscious about self-guidance and how we are perceiving not just the world around us, but each other and our own self. I mean, when you look in the mirror, are you able to say, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am strong, I am love? I had a woman on a blog or YouTube show was saying she wakes up, she's starting to say, I want to be beautiful. I want to be this, I want to be that, which is okay, but can we move into I am or this is me today? It's like that meditation we listen to that says, I want to be, is it the green crystal, I think?
get a green crystal essence.
But when it comes to you waking up and looking in the mirror now, do you want to be a blonde hair, blue eyed, European? That's what a lot of women, unfortunately, hate their nappy hair and their dark skin. Every time I see this every day that they're battling their African features and preferring to look like Europeans. But are we all looking in the mirror today and saying, I am beautiful? And not so much I want to be something this but I am beautiful because I am a divine energy vessel, uh sacred in every way. When you look at all the parts going and the rhythm of the music you play in meditation, when my eyes are closed, it's like I'm going watching my organs and cells orchestrating with this music. They're harmonizing with the music you're playing during the meditation. And so I'm like in a whole nother world. I'm like inside. Talk about self-guided. I'm looking at the rhythm and the our orchestra that's playing on the inside. So when I look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, this is an amazing piece of work here. And I'm thinking more about what's going on in the inside. So when
Mm-hmm.
you say self-guided, we really do, like you always say, have to go inward to see the beauty and the
Mm-hmm.
power that we hold in this sacred vessel.
Yeah, it's another you, and the elders teach that it's two yous. It's the first one and the second one. The
Yep.
focus should be on the first one. The second one is your awareness, like you're aware of you. But that other you got to get to know that because it has an answer to every question that you have. Everything,
Absolutely.
anything you want to know. There's nothing. There's no limitations to it.
Yep. And Kirby Gordon says, "Peace, I am here. Fear not." That's a great reminder, Kirby, not to get into fear about anything because the fear is going to harm you. Fear not. The scriptures actually say, "Fear not" 365 times. So it's like the creator put this Bible in front of a lot of us to remind us every day, get out of the fear. Are you guided by fear, or are you guided by the divine energy and system working inside of you? Thank you, Kirby, for that reminder. And especially if you're looking at the news and what is going on in the government and our society, people are really, they're really trying to get you in fear. That's how fear and division. If we don't learn how to come together and be unified and say, fear not, then we're doomed.
That's right. What makes you fearless is knowledge itself.
Absolutely.
Knowledge itself that diminishes fear. Meditation actually kills the fear of death because you realize you have an inner realization that you are that which is within and not the flesh. And if that's the case, then you can't die. So a lot of times, a lot of the elders say, "I die daily." That means that the consciousness is constantly unfolding into a higher consciousness. You see that? So this is only the vessel. So it means if that's the case, then I'm already dead.
And I think also when they say I die daily, the ego has to die daily. Uh,
It's in the elders teach this about the ego. Well, that gets in a whole lot of stuff. I don't want to go into that, but they talk about that when you look deep down in ourselves, the thing that we are seeking guidance from is actually the true us, and that true us is what you call the Most High, the first self, and it doesn't have an ego. So they say that we have an imbalance of characteristics that causes arrogance and stupidity and a lot of other things like that. So they refer to it as a sickness, if you want to look at it that way. Imbalancement of characteristics. So um, they just have a different philosophies on that. And they talk about ego, but I guess we can talk about that another time because that goes deep into Black root science and African teachings and things like that. And then you're dealing with different races of people on the planet versus the origin of these different races and how they actually have a different spiritual anatomy than Black people. And basically, we're not the same, whether it's on top of the skin or underneath the skin. On all levels, we're different. And because we're different, we have to have a different lifestyle, eat different food, different spirituality, different language, different everything. So you can just see how out of pocket we are in this society and not being able to practice anything. It first starts with plugging back into the rhythms of the earth, the moon, and the stars, and that entails a calendar system that they call the sidereal calendar, where you are looking at the relationship of the earth and the sun and the star constellations.
so we got Joshua Zulu says Dumela Kigo. Translate that for us, Joshua. What does that? You know what that means, Chief? Dumela is it Dumela Kigos? And what language is that?
Kosi, what is it? KGOS?
KGOS.
That's
Dumela
king. That's another
Dumela.
way. That's
Hmm.
greetings, king.
Oh, and what
Greetings,
language
king.
is that?
Szechuana. Um, Kosi is actually shared in more than one language, though. It's not just Szechuan. I think it's other languages as well. thinking a lot of the languages in West Africa they say Kwesi, but down south you hear like Kosi.
Okay, so it would be great if you do post uh, foreign language to tell us the meaning, because some of us are still learning some of these languages. It's like if I say shalom, I think all of you know what that means. But some of these, I'm learning new languages from my African ancestry and my Native American ancestry and the Mayan ancestry, and so on and so on and so on. We have so much we can learn that we don't have time to be entertained by housewives of Atlanta or whatever foolishness is coming up. It's like
Oh my
there's so
God.
much there's so much that we are my cake is here. There's so much that we can learn and use to build our community up. Now's the time. So I'm just grateful that you are taking the time out every week to share your wisdom and knowledge, and that we can come together um, to share and educate and enlighten, and we'll do whatever like you said, spirit leads us every day on what we need to talk about, what we need to do. And that's how I ran Blog Talk Radio for 11 years. Some people were like, well, you're not as organized as you should be. I put stuff together and then I hear spirit say, nope, that's not the way it's supposed to go. And I think that's how we're supposed to operate, because these days stuff is happening quickly that we may need to change, and we just got to be prepared.
That's
So I think we over the hour. Do you have any other final words, Chief?
right. You become what you think about most.
Oh, I
That's
love that. Yes, you
you
become what
become what
you think
you think
about.
about most. Yeah.
So let us all think about how wonderful and beautiful and smart and active and energized that we all are, and strong. That's a word we could all use. I am strong, I'm healed, I'm healthy, and I'm wise. Every time I take a walk, I'm if my knee is hurting, I'm like, I'm healed, my knee is fine, I'm healthy, and I'm wise. We got to speak the things that we want to happen and not what is really going on, because we have the power to change anything and everything with our words. Our tongue, power of life and death is in our tongue. So let us go forward. As a man thinketh, so he is. Thank you, Prince Nuriel. Exactly. So true, so true. Watch what we say, watch what we think, and do what we say we're going to do. So thank all of you for joining us. We'll be back next Tuesday. We're keeping it on Tuesday, right, at
Right.
5. Guardians of Wisdom. And I'll be back on Friday for health and well-being with Viyahta. So everybody have a great week, and we'll see you on Friday or next week. Or you have any events coming up this week?
Not any to my knowledge, but if I do, I'll let you know.
Okay, so you all know your the website and the Facebook pages, and we can post that here. I'll post that after the show. Make sure it's in the YouTube. And what I can do is send you the recording of this, so you can put it on your YouTube channel. That's how we're doing it for now. I'll send you the recording, and then you can upload it on your YouTube channel.
All right.
Okay. All right. So everybody have a good day.